Once again, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us here today. My name is Keith Stefano. I'm the COR Program Manager with the Construction Safety Association of Manitoba. Before we begin, as a reminder, if you have not done already, please type in your full name and your company name into the chat for all participants. This, of course, will allow us to track attendance as well as let everyone else know who is attending. And as always, if you have any questions during the meeting, we will be monitoring the chat and answering as we go. Here's our agenda for today. If you do not have a copy of the agenda and would like to have access to it, please visit our website, constructionsafety.ca. You'll find it under the COR program page. I would like to welcome Carlos Ferreira with SAFEWork Manitoba, Lisa Brown from Manitoba Workplace Safety and Health, and Dominica Frinca from CSAM, who will be giving awesome presentations today. And here in the room with me is CSAM's Executive Director, Sean Scott, our COR Program Managers, Sophia Doe, and me as well. First up, under updates and information, as mentioned, both Carlos and Lisa will be giving their presentations. Next, we'll be discussing Type 2 hard hats. Then we'll get into Harmonized Audit Instrument, Quality Assurance Questions update from our last meeting. And lastly, we'll be reviewing the soon-to-be updated National COR Accreditation Standard Review. All right. Let's get the party started here with Carlos with his presentation on behalf of SAFEWork Manitoba. Take it away, Carlos.
All right. Can everyone hear me okay? I'm gonna say that's a good sign. So I'm going to get the party started, which is a tough thing to do. Good morning, everybody. Finally looks like summer has finally hit us, so that's good news. We're just going to go over today a couple of things. We're going to go over sort of some key things. So if you can flip the slide, please. We have a little bit of an agenda today. One of the key things that I'm going to talk about is some highlights of what is happening for Q1 of 2026. What I've done is I've taken all your industry classification codes and put it into our Compass program, and then started doing some data analytics. What I've done too is compared 2025 Q1 to 2026 of Q1 as well. So I've done those two comparisons so we can take a look at them. We're going to talk about the top 3 industry classification performances, how they're looking and what they're trending like. I'm going to go over some SAFEWork stuff as well. So we got some training standards information, a couple of highlights and upcoming events, and what our digital marketing campaign looks like currently and what we're going to do in the near future. So if you could hit the next slide. So here's some key highlights. And again, what I've done is I've ran data on our data analytics side here in our Compass program. I've done it up until May the 20th. So this data that I'm discussing refreshes itself every 24 hours. So the numbers are going to be very similar, but there may be 1 or 2 differences. So I did put a little caveat on the bottom there, just letting everyone know I ran it on May the 20th, which was just 7 days ago. So these numbers are pretty close. So the greatest volumes of claims in industry right now happen to be in industry rate code 40102, which is your building construction, which is one of your bigger classification codes. So it's not surprising to see the majority of the claims happening there. The age group. So I've ran 2 numbers here. So you have age group of 25 to 34. That one has the highest amount of claims. And beside that, the next closest one is the 35 to 44. And those 2 age group categories account for about 55% of all claims that are happening in the industry, specifically for CSAM. So those 2 numbers are sort of the big target group. So that's a 20-year span, which is probably the majority of the people that are working in those industries are within that grouping. But those two groupings do see the highest amount of claims. Sprains and strains. So your physical injuries are still the most common injury across the board. Sprains, strains, and tears are the most common. What you're seeing in regards to an event that happens is typically people are being struck by. That means they're hit by, or something falls, or they run into something. That's typically the injury event that typically happens. And basically, it's the parts and materials that they're working with are the common injury source. The occupation, again, with the most the days lost is the construction trades, helpers and laborers category. We can flip to the next slide. So this is the performance in regards to Q1 of last year, so 2025, and Q1 of 2026. So again, the numbers here, so there's a little icon on the bottom there. It says, red numbers are higher than previous quarter and green numbers are lower than previous quarter. The numbers are all trending higher. This is also happening across the board at the WCB, we are seeing the numbers increase. One of the leading factors for the WCB as a whole is psychological injuries. That is actually not happening in the construction industry. The majority of the injuries here are all physical. So we're still seeing all the physical claims. That's the numbers that are driving here, and they all are up since Q1. So all claims, which means every claim, whether it's a time loss or no time loss, that is up. The time loss claims are also up. The severe claims, that one is actually significantly down. So that one is 20 claims down, which is good because those actually do affect a lot of these numbers here, specifically your days lost. Severe injury typically has a higher amount of days lost, so you're going to see a lot of days lost in regards to that. So the numbers of the severe claims are trending down, which is a good sign. MSI claims are trending up as well, and so are the days lost. So overall, for Q1 compared to last year at this time, things are trending up. It doesn't mean we can't change that trend line and start improving things. That's sort of what the data is telling us right now. So if we can flip to the next slide. And these are your industry classification codes that are performing and how they're doing. So for total claims, these are the top three. So you have your building construction, which is 40102, and 40204, which is plumbing, insulation, and mechanical, and 40203, which is your electrical contracting. Again, I ran data from Q1 of 2025 to Q1 of 2026. Compared the two, they're all trending higher. So the numbers before this slide were trending higher. These will also trend higher as well. And in regards to days lost, where we're seeing days lost happening is, again, building construction, plumbing, insulation, and mechanical, and roughing and eavesdropping. Those are the ones that we're seeing trending the top three and trending higher than last year's performance. Next slide, please. So here's a little bit about our training standards. So what is happening currently right now is we do have training standards, and these are, sorry, there's window cleaners cleaning windows right now. So if you hear some banging, that's what that is. Training standards are happening again right now, and we are constantly increasing the numbers. But right now, in regards to our training standards that are on our site, there is 20 training standards that are endorsed. And the ones that I'm going to really sort of discuss that we have listed here are our hazard related ones. And this is something, for example, working at heights, machine safeguarding confined space, access scaffolding, excavations and trenching, asbestos awareness, asbestos exposure, abatement, inventory, as well as self-elevating platforms, safe patient handling, and lockout. So right now, currently on our portal, these are the high hazard ones that we have listed on there, and the courses are available on our portal. In regards to how many learners we've actually gone through since we started this, so total to date is a little over 14,000 people have taken either in-person, virtual, e-learning, any one of the combinations. That's the number that we've seen go through the portal so far. So the portal is sort of in its beginning stages, infancy stages. It's starting up, but we're starting to see some traction going with this, and it's just going to expand as well. So we're going to be adding more, and the next slide will tell you which ones we're adding. So if you wouldn't mind flipping to the next one. So right now we're going to be releasing soon the flag person training standard, and so that should be coming up relatively soon, and as well as our first aid as well. So that should be coming up onto our portal. So we go to the next slide. I'm just going to quickly talk about, we do have our committee leadership conference, the CLC. It's specifically geared towards committee members, and we're going to be running that in October. Registration is going to be starting soon. I think it's in the next week or two. So look for that if you're interested in taking committee training. That will be coming up soon. Now, this is the one I want to talk a little bit about, just to kind of explain this. So I did put up a QR code. This goes on to a website run by the WCB SAFEWork, which gives a few resources in regards to psychological health and safety for employers. So this is where we're seeing the trends at WCB increase. The numbers are quite dramatically higher than the last previous years. And what we've done is we've started to put some things onto our website in regards to trying to give employers some assistance. So We do have on our website currently, so if you, again, you want to scan the QR code, you can keep it, save it. And on there, you'll have sort of psychological steps to creating a psychological safe workplace. So there's some steps there. We have some assessment tools as well. So either a psychosocial risk assessment tool, and we also have hazard priority lists, and we have controls. And we have also some online risk assessment tools that are outsourced as well. So you can click onto those, and some mental health supports as well. For people that are looking for mental health supports, we have numbers and places to click on and contacts. And then we have additional resources that are outside of the WCB that we vetted and looked at to also lend hands and lend information as well. So if you can flip to the next slide. In regards to courses that are currently being offered right now, we have Return to Work and WCB Basics. We've just put out our fall sort of winter sessions. Everything else is pretty much sold out, I want to say, if that's the word. We have no more spots. So these ones upcoming, we do have spots. So if you're interested in either taking a WCB Basics course or Return to Work Basics course, we have two options here. We have a virtual workshop, and there's 4 listed there till the end of the year. I think everything else, like I said, is sold out. And then we do have in person, we have 8 in total, 4 WCB Basics and 4 Return to Work Basics. And if you are in the Brandon area or looking to go in the Brandon area, we do have 2 workshops there as well. We have one on the 7th of October and the 8th of October. One is WCB Basics and Return to Work Basics. Right now, currently, I think that one is pretty empty. But again, those do fill up for the people that are in the Westman Brandon area. All right, if you can flip to the next slide. In regards to our digital marketing campaign, so currently right now, and they are on radio and all that type of stuff. We do have our Report Your Injury campaign, and the other one that's probably really interesting is our Safe Roads campaign as well. So that one is ongoing right now as construction season is happening. How do we work with our partners out there to make sure that they're safe when they're working at their job site? So we do have a campaign going for that. And the next one that's going to be coming up in the fall winter is going to be our training portal campaign. And that's just really sort of to promote and to kind of inform and give information to people in regards to our training portal. All right, that's basically it, unless there's some specific questions that anyone would like to ask. I thank you for your time and thank you for the opportunity.
All right, well, I don't see too many questions right now. But if you do have any at all, that anybody can think of afterwards, you can definitely email myself and I could forward your Carlos's email on if that's okay with you, Carlos.
That is totally fine.
Perfect, thank you. Awesome. Thanks again. Okay. Next on the agenda, Lisa will be given an update on behalf of Workplace Safety and Health. Take it away, Lisa.
Oh, well, let me begin by just saying thank you for having me here and the opportunity to discuss a few things that are currently underway. Normally, it would be Darren James, who's the regional manager in the inspections unit. Unfortunately, he's unable to attend today, so I've been asked to step in. Hopefully, I can answer any questions you have. If not, please feel free to contact me or the branch for clarification. Next slide, please. Again, I'm a safety and health officer. I work in the investigations unit or the incident response unit rather. So I did spend time in the inspections unit prior to moving into the incident response. So I'll just kind of get started. So recent news, there are some changes that are coming to the regulations. One in particular is the hot water at construction sites. That will be taking effect on April 1st. For more information, as it states, you can go to the website, click on the link, and it'll take you over to the questions and answers page. Next slide, please. So what is changing? So this has to do with providing hot water for hand washing at construction sites. As stated, it's namely industrial, commercial, or institutional buildings greater than 600 square meters or greater than 3 stories in height. And this applies when there are 25 workers expected on a site at any time during the project. So if you're starting at the base, let's say you're doing the piling, there's only a few of you. However, it meets the requirements of the 600 square meters, or it's going to be 3 stories, and you'll have a number of trades on site, 25 or more. You have to have that water installed prior to the work beginning. Again, these questions are all answered on our website. But you will have to have hot water available, as I say, for the span of the project, beginning on the first day that it begins. Again, why is the change in place? This was brought up during review of the legislation through various consultations. And it was submitted to the minister in 2025 with unanimous recommendation requiring hot water for hand washing. Again, if you want to go to the website, or the link there rather, you can find out more information. Next slide, please. Another new regulation that's coming into effect is access to menstrual products. And there are a number of reasons for that. Bear with me, I just have to click on my slide. I'm just having some technical difficulties at my end. So the products are considered a basic necessity. It supports workers' dignity, enhances physical and psychological safety, and removes barriers for workers. It will be required in men's, women's, and universal washrooms. If it is not available in the washrooms, it has to be placed in a location that provides reasonable privacy and is accessible at all times. However, they are not required in public washrooms for clients and the public. Okay, and this next one has to do with the asbestos. Again, we have the links on all these pages, so you can reference that too. It has been revised to introduce a single concentration threshold of 0.1% for identifying asbestos-containing material rather than different concentrations based on whether the material is friable or non-friable. The changes highlight responsibilities for asbestos to include property owners, reinforcing their role in helping to manage ACM risks when work is being done. It's effective June 1st, 2027. Mandatory certification will be required for all workers engaged in asbestos abatement or inventory development work. Excuse me. Next slide, please. In regards to the proactive enforcement that's conducted by our inspections unit, as they say, it's mostly unchanged. Failing to report serious incidents to workplace safety and health. I know that WCB they just touched on that. That is a concern where we are finding that they are not being reported. Priority sectors are still part of the proactive: healthcare, manufacturing, the service trade, constructions. Hazardous substances remains a priority, as well as asbestos. The hearing conservation, musculoskeletal injuries, and vulnerable workers. Next slide, please.
I just have a quick question here, Lisa.
Sure.
So with the menstrual products, does this apply to porta potties on construction sites as well?
I believe it would be. It just has to be available. So if you have those porta potties, I would assume it is. I can get back to you on that. That would be my understanding of it. It just says washrooms used by workers at the workplace. So to me, that would be included in those porta potties.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. The construction industry priorities, again, as it states, that is unchanged from last year. We're looking at those excavations, getting the serial numbers, making sure they have all their paperwork there. Shoring always remains a top priority for us. The roofing, the stucco, the framing, drywall, a lot of working from heights in those cases. Concrete work we're watching, they're cutting, are they wet cutting? Sewer and water, again, that has a lot to do with those excavations. Landscaping, they're operating equipment, they're using chemicals, depending on, of course, what they're doing. Suspended work platforms for window cleaning. Just kind of doing a brief over this. Everybody can read this, I'm sure. Cranes, we're looking at that for, we're looking at logbooks, maintenance, all of that, elevated platforms, that includes things like the training on, is everybody trained on these types of this type of equipment, and apprenticeship supervision. As we know, it's 1-to-1 at this point. Next slide, please. So we'll just kind of get into the number of inspections that have been happening. As you see, the numbers have increased, as well as the number of officers. There have been a number of officers hired over the last year. We've really increased. Same with the percentage of inspections resulting in improvement orders. That tends to go up because, again, we have more officers out there. Next slide, please. Top 10 improvement orders. So they did a review, gathered up that information, and this is what they're really seeing out there. Safeguards required tends to be very prevalent on all different types of, your tools and machines. Emergency eye wash facilities not being maintained. There's more of a concern depending on what they're doing. If they're working with chemicals, if they have that dust, possible dust in the eyes. Fire extinguishers, again, a lot of these remain constant, removing safeguards. And there is a difference between the safeguard required and the removing of a safeguard. If they don't have it, or if they have it, it's broken, it's not maintained, and so forth. Electrical equipment, notice of serious incident, that's a big one for us, for the fact that if an incident's happened, it's not reported, we really don't have a chance to gather the information, find out what happened, why it happened, and the controls that the employer has in place or will be putting into place to control the risk in the future. General safety duties or work procedures, we're always looking at harassment prevention policy, oil and gas, and the posting of the policy. Now you may look at this and not say, well, these are high risk situations. However, we just look at it. This is what the regulations say and what's being written by the officers. Next slide, please.
Just another question here, Lisa.
Oh, sorry.
Regarding hot water, can we clarify at the start of the project specific to new construction, new development construction? When does the start of the project apply? Could it be months before hitting the 25 worker requirement?
So it just says that the hot water has to be provided for those sites, construction sites, just industrial, commercial, or institutional buildings. That's just what it says here. Like, I'm reading off exactly what it says here. During the construction, at any point in the lifespan when there's going to be 25 people on there. I'm not sure if that's answering your question or not. That's kind of the information that we have at this point that's being posted. Again, this hasn't been put into effect yet, so there may be some more information coming out. If anybody does have any questions, reach out to me and I'll get some clarification on that, and I can reply back, and you can pass that on.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Next slide, please. Inspections resulting in stop work orders. As you can see, there has been an increase in that. Our Q2, so Q1 is April, May, June. The second quarter is July, August, September. There's a lot more going on out there in the construction industry during that Q2. So that generally tends to be a little higher in the orders at that time frame. Percentage of inspections resulting in stop work orders, up and down again, depending on the season. I would almost venture to say, and please don't quote me, but just with the new officers coming in, that may change. The results coming in the future, you may see more of this. Next slide, please. Again, here's just some more stats, just kind of broken down. So with this one, sorry, the top I think is missing from this slide. Inspections by industry, we continue to be looking at the retail industry, retail and services, and in the construction. contraventions, as you can see, there's a large percentage that have come out in that retail services industry itself. Next slide, please. Serious incidents they're continuing to rise. It's hard to say if there's just more incidents or they're just being reported more often, right? People are starting to report. It has changed. Administrative penalties can be issued to employers who fail to report. That is part of our legislation. So with that going out there, maybe that's it. I can't really tell you for sure what the increase caused it. Next slide, please. Well, that was it. So I just want to say it was handed to me and I'm kind of working with what was provided. So I apologize if I wasn't able to give more or clearer information to anybody. As I say, if you have any questions, just reach out to me and I'll be able to give you an answer or I'll find one for you. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Lisa, for that information. Are there any other questions? And while people are maybe typing out some questions here for Lisa, there is a link that Michael posted under the web chat that actually will go to hot water handling, and actually says here that really from the beginning or first day on the work site, water should be readily available here. So it's on our website too, and the link that Michael posted goes to workplace safety and health as well. Okay, there's also a link Michael posted on menstrual products on the website there. So if anybody's interested in taking a look at that, again, it's on the web chat as well. Any other questions?
Sorry, just jumping in for a second. The number that's at the bottom of the page is actually Darren James's phone number, and not mine. So, if you want to call Darren, his number is right there.
Okay, perfect. We'll just put that in the chat here. What's your phone number, Lisa?
204-915-6006.
Got it.
Thank you.
Great. Okay. All right. Well, that's great. Thank you very much. I see there's another question in regards to type 2 hard hats, but we're going to actually, that is next on the agenda here. So if Lisa could just stick around for that, that'll be great. Another question here. Does the hot water requirements apply to residential construction sites or industrial, commercial, and institutional sites?
It's any construction site.
Yeah.
Over 600 square meters and has or more than 25 workers. So it's any construction site.
Awesome. All right. Like I said, Lisa's going to hang around for our next slide here, which is type 2 hard hats. First off, what is a type 2 hard hat? Well, unlike traditional type 1 hard hats, which are designed to reduce force from impacts to the top of the head, type 2 hard hats are designed to reduce force from impacts to the front, back, sides, and the top of the head. In addition, the integrated manufacturing approved 4-point chin strap helps to secure the hard hat during slips, trips, falls, high winds, and while workers are working in awkward positions. Right, the Canadian Construction Safety Council, CCSC, transitioning to CSA or ANSI certified type 2 hard hats effective July 1st, 2026. So let me first tell you what the CCSC is. They're a national collaboration of leading construction organizations founded by 12 leading Canadian general contractors aimed at improving safety standards and reducing serious injuries and fatalities in the construction sector. After the CCSC reviewed a study by the Helmet Lab at Virginia Tech, the results showed that the average risk of fall-related concussions were reduced by 34% and skull fractures by 65% when using the type 2 hard hats. So the decision was approved by the organization to transition into type 2 hard hats by July 1st, 2026. Now, the Canadian Federation of Construction Safety Associations, the CFCSA, which CSAM is a member of, does support this change. I'll explain what the CFCSA is in detail in a slide coming up in a bit. Is this legislated or going to be in Manitoba? Currently, there is nothing in legislation stating that type 2 hard hats are mandatory on all construction sites. However, some prime general contractors have already gone above the legislation requirements and implemented it for all workers on site. So this will also include any subcontractors and all visitors. Okay, maybe asking where can I purchase type 2 hard hats? Type 2 hard hats are available at majority of safety retailers, ranging from $70 to $200, depending on the brand name and accessories that you'll be adding to it. Also, there have been some questions about the difference between type 2 hard hats and the mountain climbing hard hats that you do see there. Although they look pretty similar, they are different due to the density of the foam, and obviously the brim on the type 2 hard hats will make it stand out a little bit more. Okay, so just keep that in mind before purchasing any type 2 hard hats. Okay, so last on this slide here, for more information, please visit the website on the screen. Now, this link is also available on our CSAM homepage under type 2 hard hats. Okay, so just like I said, legislation is coming up. Are there any it's not legislative, sorry, but it may be in the future, but the hard hats, you're going to see more and more this summer out there. So are there any questions in regards to type 2 hard hats that we didn't go through right now? Any questions for Lisa? The one question, that's 25 workers over the life of the project, 25 workers on site at one time. It's on site at one time. That's getting back to the water. Okay, also the link has been posted to the chat. Thank you again, Michael, for that. So it's a quicker link there. Okay, another question here. Under the CSA standard, must a type 2 hard hat have a chin strap, or is this a contractor specific requirement? Type 2 hard hats all do come with the chin straps available, I believe. It's one of the integrated changes is the integrated chin strap. I see it saying the link does not work. Well, we'll double check it for you, but it is off our website on our homepage as well. So, any other questions? Seeing it is fine. Of course, any questions that you think of afterwards in regards to hard hats or anything else that we're going through here today, you can definitely just email myself and I'll be happy to answer them for you. Oh, do you have another question here? Are the type 2 hard hats legislated in Manitoba? No, that we answered down. They yes and no, they're technically not. However, they're being implemented more and more by the general contractors are going above and beyond to implement those hard hats.
Yeah, so the long answer is yes, they are allowable under legislation, but they're not mandated that you must use a type 2. The type 2 is the best practice, and again, that's CCSC. They're the largest contractors here in Canada, and they have mandated all of their job sites by July 1st. Any person, including any contractor, any visitor, whatever, has to have the type 2 with the integrated chin strap on site. So it's coming, and normally speaking, generally I wouldn't anticipate this is going to be a legislative change that happens here in Manitoba. We just went through the legislative review. Moving forward in 5 years, unless there's a significant increase in a lot of people getting hurt or injured because of this. However, in saying that, following some of the other jurisdiction, Ontario is in process of changing it to the type 2. So Manitoba is typically the poor cousin of Canada. So eventually what happens in other jurisdiction does get passed down to us. So I would anticipate that this will become legislation in the next review change that happens here in Manitoba. Regardless though, if you're working on site with one of those larger contractors, they are already making it a mandatory requirement that you have in place.
Okay, so what is Saskatchewan requirements? No, I'm not too
Similar to
sure,
Manitoba.
but yeah, it'd be similar to Manitoba.
And all of those general contractors work there as well. And it'll be a requirement if you're working on that site with them as a prime.
All right. Okay, so that's type 2 hard hats for now. Thanks again, Lisa, for your time and sticking around for that slide. Okay, moving on, the Harmonized Audit Instrument, Quality Assurance. So similar to the last few meetings, again, we've got the top 5 questions where points have been lost in all audits from October 2025 to today. So the number 1 answer where points were lost, the most continues to be 15.8. This company have a hearing conservation program. So it's 5-point documentation question. Guideline reads a hearing conservation program should be developed for each company based on employee exposure. The program should be written and communicated to employees. should include elements with respect to site sound monitoring, audiometric testing, hearing protection, and training for employees. So 1 point, creation of a hearing conservation program directive. 2 points based on the documentation in support of the biannual, so it's every 2 years, of the audiometric testing for employees. And 2 points based on the documentation in support of sound site monitoring. Now, to achieve full points for this question, you need to create and provide a hearing conservation policy. So 1 point out of the questions there. Conduct and complete biannual hearing tests company-wide. And that'd be 2 points, and obviously by default, the last one here, conduct sound site monitoring tests by using an approved noise decimeter. So I know I mentioned this last few times here, mention it again for those of you who haven't not done this or received points. CSAM does have decimeters available here to reserve for a week free of charge. Just give us a call and or shoot us an email. We'll be happy to put one on hold for you. Okay. Second question where points were lost is 1110. Has the emergency response plans been tested for deficiencies and corrective actions been taken? So 2 point documentation question only. Guideline reads, verified through documentation that emergency plans have been tested as per company policy or legislative requirement. Records must indicate the results of the test and what corrective actions were taken to correct deficiencies. Documents we're looking for would be a copy of the results of the emergency response plan test that was conducted and any corrective actions taken to correct those deficiencies that may have come up. Okay, so examples of that can be you're testing for a fire drill, chemical response drill, or response after a chemical spill, you know, that type of stuff. So, and you know, that's really it. So depending on what type of work you are, obviously, fire drill should be done a couple times a year minimum, but the response should also be added, a chemical response, especially if you're dealing with a lot of those types of products. All right. Question 3 is actually new to the list here. It is 12.7. Are results and analysts communicated to relevant workplace parties and per company policy procedure or guidelines? So 4 points, documentation and interview question with this one. Guideline reads, documented evidence must show that an action plan was communicated. Award 2 points based on the receipt of a documentation to verify implementation of the audit corrective action plan. And then award 2 points based on the majority of positive interview responses. So documents provided for this question should be quite simple, really. It can be simple as a toolbox talk, showing that action plans were discussed with all workplace parties that were involved. And obviously interviews here, we need to verify the employees that are on that list have been involved or been made aware that they are part of the corrective actions required. Okay. Fourth question where points were lost was 12.5. Are adequate first aid records kept? Guideline reads, documentation must confirm that first aid records are being recorded and retained for all work inquiries. Documents we're looking for would be a sample of completed first aid records or forms that are located really inside the first aid kit. It's simple as that. You can blacken out names. You don't need to see names. We need to see that it's actually being done. And that's the documentation looking for this question. So I'm hoping that that one will be gone in our meeting in the fall here for that. So, and last and final question where points were lost was 14.3 has a criteria for selection, evaluation, and monitoring of contractors been followed. 4 point documentation and interview question. Guideline reads, verified through documentation that a criteria identified in 14.1 and 14.2 have been followed. Majority of interview questions must also be positive in order to award points. A documentation example of what would be required is including at minimum a completed contractor compliance declaration as supporting documentation. The interview question is asked only to management and supervisors, and it reads, how do you ensure your criteria for selection, evaluation, and monitoring contractors is being followed? So the quick answer for this is to ensure that all compliance declaration forms are being filled out and submitted. That is it for that, really. So on a side note to that question as well, it is a all or nothing question, even though it is worth 4 points. That's one of those ones that where it's not broken down to partial points. And we have seen that happen a few times with some mostly the paper audit submitted. So just keep that in mind that it is all or nothing. Okay. Any questions with these 5 this time around? Also, I'll say as a reminder, if you have any issues or questions with these 5, obviously being the top ones. But any other questions within the audit? I know you've heard this. I know I may sound like a broken record, but please just contact myself, contact your regional health and safety advisor in your area, and we'll be happy to come out, sit with you, go over any questions you may have or need clarification. Okay? So any other questions before we continue on? Oh yeah, the question here, are these 5 the same as last year? No, they do fluctuate from meeting to meeting. 3 out of the 5 kind of in the same area, 15.8, 12, 12.5 and 14.3. And 11.10 actually has 4 of them, I should say, but they have changed really they're kind of fluctuating up and down every meeting. So, all right. Okay, moving on to the next slide here, National COR Accreditation Standard Review. So first off, what is the National COR Accreditation Standard? Well, the National COR Accreditation Standard document outlines the COR accreditation program, including its requirements, processes, stakeholder responsibilities, and describes the agreed upon elements of an effective safety and health management system. Now, who reviews this? A representative or representatives from each Canadian Federation of Construction Safety Association, or CFCSA, reviews and updates the accreditation standard every 5 years. Now, as mentioned earlier, before we do continue, I just want to elaborate a little bit on the Canadian Federation of Construction Safety Associations, the CFCSA, who they are, who we are, I guess I should say. So simply put, the CFCSA is an umbrella organization for provincial and territorial construction safety associations with a shared interest in promoting awareness of construction, health and safety, improving information, sharing and collaboratively producing workplace health and safety training standards and information resources. Now, the CFCSA members have the authority to grant COR certification to employers, monitors compliance with program requirements, and serves as an employer's main point of contact for all operational aspects related to COR in their respective province and territory. CFCSA member associations have the flexibility to include additional requirements tailored to their industry, province, or territory within their representative or the respective COR accreditation programs. So the example here in Manitoba, it is the Manitoba Supplement Section 15 that we have. There is at minimum 1 association in each province and territory, and 2 actually in Saskatchewan and here in Manitoba. If you'd like more information on the CFCSA, please visit the website cfcsa.ca. Okay. Back to the accreditation standards there. The timeline now for this. It was a 6-month process starting in January of this year. Virtual meetings were held every 2 weeks with a final completion date of June 15th, 2026. Okay. Now, why review it? Well, as mentioned, all documentation produced through the CFCSA is subject to review and or revisions every 5 years based on the memorandum of understanding signed by each executive director of each association. And lastly, to review a current copy of the National COR Accreditation Standard, please follow the link on the screen there, and it'll take you right to it right now. And I believe Michael's already put it up in the chat for you to make it a little bit easier to get to. Are there any questions? All right. Awesome. Perfect. Okay, moving on to activities and updates here from CSAM. So from our last meeting in October to today, CSAM has had 21 new companies and 9 new SECOR companies and 11 new COR equivalencies. So far, we've completed 392 audit and verification reviews, 197 independent COR and SECOR audits, and 77 quality assurance site assessments. CSAM currently has a total of 980 COR and SECOR certified companies. So just to follow up there on the quality assurance, CSAM has completed 77 as mentioned. 71 of those had no action required, 6 had corrective actions, and 0 companies had completed a spot audit. So again, great job to our companies on meeting and ensuring the COR program standards have been met and maintained out there. All right, next we're going to get into the COR and SECOR certified companies. our new ones here, so bear with me a bit. We have, since our last meeting in October, we've had a total of 30 COR and SECOR companies. Our companies, our new companies, I should say, are Advanced Exteriors, Alcove Construction Limited, Apollo Homes, Armor Mechanical Insulation, Broad Street Properties, Emerald Sheet Metal Limited, Form Structures Group, Inc., Gloria Home Builders, Inc., Grade A Sewer and Septic Services Limited, HK Interiors Limited, Home Brand, Institutional Form Technologies Limited, Care Plumbing and Heating Limited, Kingland Developers, Lewis Joseph Consulting, Inc., Mitchell Construction, Mitchell Homes, Mid Canada Earthworks, Inc., Modular Building Solutions, Northern Structures Limited, PE Technologies Incorporated, Phillips and Stevens, PS General Construction, Silver Heights or Silver Hills Ventures Limited, SW Subservices, Inc., 364 Metalworks, Inc., Titan Interior Commercial, 124, and Wilmar Winnipeg South. So congratulations to all our newly COR and SECOR companies. Okay, I have a question here. For section 12.1 on the audit, asks for approved or current versions of application documents readily available at the point of use. Can you give example? Can you give an example and say what kind of document? Okay, I don't have the audit in front of me here, so
Any of your documentation has to be
yeah, so yeah, so it's any of your documentation that's up to date with your current policies. Okay. So. Okay. Next up here are certification milestones that we have here from our last COR meeting. There have been, again, 30 new companies that are celebrating 10 years of certification. Okay, bear with me again. I'll go through this here. They are First Choice Electric Limited, Canadian Insulation, ADR Property Holdings Corporation, Advanced Crane Limited, Advanced Environmental Services Inc., Agassiz Drilling 2000 Limited, BDK Construction 2005 Inc., Belfast Signs Limited, Blue Lake Construction and Consulting Engineering Corp., Central Elevator Limited, Clean Harbors Inc., Conrestor Technologies, Dees Electric Limited, DG Coughlin Construction Limited, Don Wirch Electric Limited, Gateway Mechanical Services Inc., Grade A Excavation Inc., Hearthstone Heating and Air Conditioning Limited, Hard Work Homes Inc., JK's in Landscaping Contractors and Nurseries, Camel Construction, Métier and For Construction Inc., Overhead Doors of Winnipeg Limited, Picture Perfect Windows Cleaning Limited, Pollock and Wright Manitoba Land Surveyors Limited, Power Builders Limited, Pritchard Engineering Co., Roscoe Machines Limited, Pritchard Engineering, or Roscoe Machines, Senecal, Eastroughs, and Trockhead more industrial contractors. So congratulations to our 10 years. Now we always follow that up with the next on our slide here, which is the 20-year COR and SECOR companies. So we have 10 of them this time around celebrating 20 years. So they are Antex Western, BHP Mechanical, Cobb's Plumbing and Heating, Gardon Construction, Gypsum Drywall Interiors Limited, Master Roofing, Region Construction Inc., Static Electric Limited, WBS Construction, and last but not least, Western Construction Services as well. So congratulations again to our 20-year companies and our 10-year companies. So if you haven't sent us your logo yet for people that are participating today for the 10 and 20 years, make sure you send it in to Sophia. We'll get you those banners made up if we haven't done already. So again, congratulations, and looking to do the 30-year one coming up soon here for these banners, which would be awesome to see. Okay, we're already on new business here, which is great. So new business today. We are going to be looking at a couple of slides from staff changes, the brand and safety blitz, the CSAM Classic, upcoming training courses, and then last but not least, we are going to discuss SHEILD. So. Okay, so staffing changes here. In our Winnipeg office, we're happy to announce, CSAM overall is happy to announce the addition of our new safety advisor, Connor Simpson. Connor brings hands-on experience in roofing, flooring, landscaping, renovations, and practical job site safety to CSAM. His email is connor@constructionsafetyassociation.ca. So you'll see Connor out there this summer. If you have any other questions too, you can always definitely email him. So welcome to the team, Connor. Brand and Safety Blitz. So Westman Training Safety Blitz is back for another day of high impact training and networking opportunities tailored to Manitoba's construction industry. This year's event will be held on Tuesday, June 23rd, 2026 in the familiar place and convenient location that we've done the last few years, the Clarington Hotel and Suites, which is located at 3130 Victoria Avenue. So whether you're just starting out or looking to refresh and expand your safety knowledge, the Westman Safety Training Blitz offers a wide range of courses, options to suit your needs. So courses offered will be 2 full-day courses, basic first aid, CPR, safety skills for supervisors. And the half-day courses will include lockout, excavation and trenching, psychological health and safety in the workplace, psychological risk assessment, workplace safety and health legislation and enforcement is the last one there. So for more information, please contact Trish at our Brandon office. The number there is 204-728-3456, or definitely you can always email Trish, trish@constructionsafety.ca. So looking forward to seeing everyone from the Westman area there that day. Those courses do fill up quickly, so sign up today. Okay, CSAM Classic. So mark your calendars. The 2026 CSAM Golf Classic is set for August 18th. You can expect, again, another fantastic day on the greens filled with exciting contests, great prizes, and plenty of opportunities to connect with industry peers. Now, registration for this will open in June, so stay tuned to our website for more details coming up on it. Again, as always, can't wait to see everyone on the greens there August 8th. And quickly, we're going to go through just some updates here, or next upcoming, I should say, training courses. May 28th, we have flag person in Winnipeg. June 2nd, principal safety management is also in Winnipeg. June 3rd, hazard identification risk control, Winnipeg. Basic first aid is also in Winnipeg here. Working in Heights is June 9th. In Winnipeg, leadership for safety excellence is in Winnipeg the 16th of June. Also on the 16th of June, we have some virtual courses, safety administration, prime contractor responsibilities, legislation 101, and workplace safety and health committee, and workplace safety and health representative. Those legislation and committees are on the 17th. June 23rd, as I just mentioned a couple slides ago, the Westman Training Blitz is in Brandon. June 25th, WCB Basics 101. June 25th as well, we'll have the Principal Safety Management, our next virtual session of that. And June 30th, Hazard Identification and Risk Control out of our Winnipeg office. Now, to view all our upcoming training courses and to register, please follow the link at the bottom of the screen there. And we do go obviously beyond June off our website right now. I just did the first month here, and the next month, I should say here. So keep that in mind that our courses do fill up quickly wherever we really are. So if you want to get on a course sooner than later, sign up for them.
Thank you, Keith. I'm just going to start by sharing my screen. Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Dominika Afrika, and I've been leading SHEILD development on behalf of your Construction Safety Association of Manitoba. As some of you might know, we've actually already launched SHEILD last week. And with that, I had the opportunity to receive some feedback and questions. So I've decided that for today's meeting, it'll be very important for us to go over a big picture of SHEILD, what SHEILD is, why we've built it, what features it includes, as well as how to access it. Practical solutions for a safer workplace is a slogan that we live by here at CSAM. And ever since our inception, it was always our intention to develop tools and resources that would be as practical as possible to keep your people safe, because we understand the fast-paced environment that you work with in every day and all the legislation that you need to adhere to. And so here I'm going to talk about the online platforms that we have created for you over the years, starting with the online training platform that allowed you and your workers to take courses on demand. We've also allowed you to register for in-class courses through our website. We've developed the safety pass that was available through another platform as well. I think in 2019, we've built an online audit tool that allowed you to complete and submit your audits online, so you didn't have to drive into our office on the 31st of the month trying to beat the traffic. And on the last thing that we've built was the client portal that allowed you to see training records as well as certificates for yourself and your employees. And all those tools that we've built, where each one of them was solving a real problem. However, when all was said and done, we've realized that you now had 5 different places to go to and 5 different logins to remember. So with that, we realized that this was not practical after all. And so we've embarked on the journey of building SHEILD, where the idea is that SHEILD is just one platform for everything CSAM, where one login takes care of everything. Building SHEILD was actually very much like working on a construction project. It's kind of like demolishing 5 single-family homes and using that land to build a large multi-residential building with commercial space on the main level, underground parking, and a shopping mall attached to it. And while building all that, we also had to consider to make it a comfortable home for our over 6,000 companies and over 36,000 users that we had to migrate to this platform. So we had to go through it all. We had to gather requirements, scope the project. We had to manage our limited resources. And in some instances, it also meant that we needed to reuse materials from our previous builds to stay within the budget. We also had to deal with mid-build surprises, and we have done thousands and thousands of inspections. When it comes to a building platform like that online, the difference between doing it online and real life construction project is that online you could be building something in the west side of the building and it would make something on the east side break. So even though we've tested things, we needed to retest, and we continued doing that to create a seamless experience for you as much as we can. However, for those of you that are not familiar, the very last step of bringing online platform to end users like yourselves is taking that platform from what we call a sandbox environment and putting it on the live environment, which includes a migration. So with that migration, there is always potential that some things could break and we might have not noticed it. If you are on the platform and notice an error or something not working quite well, I understand that is very frustrating, especially in your environment, but give us a call, let us know what's happening, and we will attempt to fix it as quickly as possible. So let's talk about what you can expect from SHEILD. When it comes to instructor-led training, we've migrated all the records. So all your current employees, potentially even previous employees, they have all been migrated with all their training history. So you would be able to see that on the platform. When it comes to online audits, if you have used our online audit tool in the past, we've migrated all those audits into SHEILD, so everything is preserved. The only thing is that for documentation, we've only migrated the last 3 years worth of documentation, so starting from 2022. And this will be happening going forward. So we will only keep last 3 years worth of documentation. But as far as audit, it's meaning like audit information and instrument, we will keep that forever, at least as of right now, that is the intent. When it comes to online training, the platform that you've been using for the last few years, it's actually fairly new. And I think everyone was happy with the platform, so we've integrated it into SHEILD. However, when it comes to the training records, we were not able to migrate them into SHEILD because the platform, as I mentioned at the beginning, was totally separate from our main database, and there were different usernames, and so there was no reliable way for us to migrate those users and map them to your actual employees. That's why we've archived it. We have access. If you need to know if someone took the training, we're able to tell. However, you will not see it on the platform. But great news is that going forward, any online training will be showing on your platform. When it comes to third-party certificates, we've introduced a new feature where you can upload your third-party certificates to the platform. You would type in information from the certificate, upload it, and then we will store it for you so you have everything in one place. So example would be if you took training with other training providers, or if you had a previous online course that you took with us, or even for CSAM conference certificates, you can upload those here as well. One of the bigger upgrades that we've made is regarding security. So when you first log into the platform, you will notice that you need to confirm your email. This email confirmation activates your account, and there's also two-factor authentication. This will be required for all org managers, so those are the people managing company profiles. However, we've given org managers ability to bypass these requirements for their employees. So if you need to quickly set up your employees for online training, for example, you will be able to bypass these requirements for them. Now let's talk about access, because I know in the past we had a lot of places to go to and a lot of different logins. So if there's one thing that you need to know about SHEILD is that it's one login per person, and there's no more password sharing, no more company accounts. So I know that in our previous platform, sometimes you would have a login for a company and then you would share that username and password with multiple people. So this is no longer the case in SHEILD. In SHEILD, you'd only get one password for your profile, and you do everything from that profile. And individually, that means taking, managing your courses or designations. And if someone does need to manage the company profile, then they should use a new feature that we've implemented, which is the org manager role. Org manager is kind of like your site foreman who has full visibility over the crew, and in this case, over your SHEILD account. And so what org manager can do, he or she can access the company profile and manage information. They can manage employees. They can view training records and download certificates for all their employees. They can register and pay for employee training, and that includes in-class training as well as online training. And also now you have ability to buy courses in bulk. The new feature as well is that org manager is able to view certification details. So you will be able to see your COR or SECOR number. You will also be able to download COR certificate and letter of good standing directly from the platform. And you will be able to see when your next audit is due. And when it comes to audit, org manager can view all the company audits that were submitted online. Org manager can also start the audit and either complete it themselves, or they can assign the audit to someone else. And when it comes to assigning the audit, I know that there are different scenarios. So one of them is that org manager would be the person completing an audit. That's fairly straightforward. You could just go ahead and do it. And then the second scenario would be utilizing, either one of your employees that's not necessarily an org manager, or an external consultant. There are quite a few companies that utilize external consultants. And so when thinking about setup for SHEILD, if the consultant is only doing your audit, the best setup is that you have someone internally set up as org manager, and you can have multiple org managers as well. So I would mention that. And then that org manager can then invite anybody to complete audit on your behalf. So the audit can be assigned to anyone with an account in SHEILD, and they do not need to be an org manager, and they do not even need to work for your company. The second scenario is that consultant also manages your entire safety program, so they might need visibility into training records for your employees, or have the ability to register your employees for training on your behalf. In that case, the best option would be to consider approving them for org manager, and then you can grant them that role, and then you can also be an org manager yourself, so you keep that full visibility into your profile. So from SHEILD's perspective, the foundation is poured, the walls are there, roof, we've even done all the interior. The only thing remaining is really moving furniture. And so if you want to contribute to that, we are very open to feedback. Let us know what you think or what you think could work better. Send your feedback to safety@constructionsafety.ca, and we will do our best to make it the best experience for everyone. There are some things that I want to mention quickly. As of right now, org manager cannot edit some of the company information or remove employees from their profile. And it was actually done intentionally. Whatever you see on the platform, even when you log in as org manager, which gives you the most powers as external users, that is only a small fraction of what SHEILD actually is. And with having so many different features on the platform and so much going on, I just thought it would be too risky to all of a sudden let the 36,000 plus users totally edit all the information in our database. So for now, you can have a clear view of what we see on our end. If something needs to be updated, you can contact us. You can add your new employees by yourself, so that you can do independently. But that was done very much intentionally, and the plan is to give you those powers once everything settles and everything is working properly. Then we can, make sure that we do this responsibly, because obviously everyone is different and everyone has different needs. So I want to get some feedback before we allow for it. And so to get started, it's really only up to 3 steps. One is that you need to activate your account, which we will show shortly. The most important thing is to click on the login page of SHEILD is recent email confirmation. You're going to want to use the email that you think is linked to your personal account. And if you're not receiving email, likely it's not linked to your personal account, you can contact us and we will get you set up. After that, you just follow the process of confirming email. It's very important that you click on the link in the email and then set your password. If you think that you need to be managing company profile, then you would request org manager access through the online form. I think we can post that in the link. And also I will show that right after in a demo. And lastly, once you log in, explore your dashboard. So now everything is in one place, which would be both easier to navigate, but could be a little more overwhelming. So we do have, as soon as you log in, a library of videos that explain how all the different features work. If you've already signed in as a learner, you would have seen videos related to learner. If you later also get org manager access, check your videos again, because then you will see videos that are pertaining to org manager role. And it might seem like there's a lot of videos, but we purposely kept them very short. So most of the videos are about a minute long. You also have the ability to speed them up if you want. But essentially in 10 minutes, you can literally know ins and outs of the platform by watching the videos. So yeah, that's everything for my presentation. And I will move on to a demo unless there are any pressing questions.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question here.
Okay.
We also use Skill Pass Manitoba portal under SAFEWork Manitoba for our workers to take free virtual training. Is this going to be integrated into CSAM SHEILD in the near future?
I'm not sure about integrating it that way. I know we'll be sharing some information regarding high hazard courses through the platform. So if you take high hazard courses, you will be able to see certificate on our platform as well as on SAFEWorks Manitoba platform. So that I know. And then in terms of integrating other features, it's a possibility, but that will be conversation for I guess Sean and SAFEWork.
Yeah, and the short answer to that is probably not. So if it's SAFEWork endorsed training through that portal, 100%, we have access and we'll upload your certificate automatically to our portal. What you're talking about is the CCOH&S, where they offer free general awareness training. And the numbers have been dwindling down. We used to do over 1,000 of those that we would actually collect and have information on. Now it's only about 150, 200 people per year now that are actually taking that free training. So again, as Dominique as previous, we want to make the most people happy. So that integration is a lot. So we are likely not going to do that. However, as Dominique had made mention, you will have the ability to, once you receive your certificate from them, to upload that third-party certificate directly into the portal. So everything is here, a one-stop shop for you to manage everything through SHEILD.
Okay, any other questions?
No. Next slide here, as we are done today pretty much here. So our next meeting date is going to be fall 2026. We don't have an exact date set in stone yet. And I like to ensure that I get a date where the weather's turned a little bit and it's not a rush, hopefully, for all the contractors involved here with these meetings. So as always, we will be sending out an exact date in the fall in our newsletters and on our website when we do set that all up. And lastly here today, as a reminder, for those of you who did sign in a little bit late, if you have not already done so, please put your name down in the webinar chat area so we can keep track of everyone who has attended this meeting here today with us. And we can go from there. Last thing to this core meeting overall, when we're done, it here will be available on YouTube. So if you do happen to miss part of this, or you know somebody that couldn't attend for various reasons today, it will be on our YouTube channel in the next couple of weeks as well. So lastly, thanks again for everybody today. Thank you for the information. Thank you to Carlos and Lisa and Dominica for putting on these great presentations. I'd like to thank everyone for attending, and definitely Sophia for always putting this together, our core administrator here. She does a lot of work here as well. So once again, thank you to everybody, and we'll talk to you all again in the fall. Thanks again.